Did I miss an attack that you just can't stand? Be sure to drop it down in the comment section, and don't worry, I just seem like I dislike this game more than I do. I just love it so much that I also love to hate it. If you enjoyed this, be sure to check out some of the other content Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, just like other entries in the series, is an action game filled with flashy, chaotic, and sometimes show-stopping moves. Each character has their own moveset, but some moves are just more satisfying when they actually connect than others. Today we're going to explore a number of attacks that just send chills down your spine when you pull them off. Here's 20 of what I personally feel are the most satisfying attacks to land on an opponent. This list is in no specific order, but let me know in the comments section below, what are your favorite attacks to land on an opponent? What do you feel are the most satisfying? And before we start, if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing, and let's get to 20k. Okay, I know this one probably doesn't deserve a spot on the list, but hitting a Flare Blitz that KOs is super satisfying, especially when it's a well-timed one that flies across the entirety of the stage. Yes, Charizard takes some damage for using Flare Blitz, but it's worth it in the end when it connects and that explosion fills your opponent with salt. Little Mac's Knockout Punch is tough to hit because you have a very small window to do it. Also, your enemy is aware when he has it, so it becomes increasingly difficult. That's okay though, because that just means it's even more rewarding when you land it. Even the sound effects are solid, because you know Little Mac can just crack someone's jaw. Yoshi's down there isn't a single attack, but a barrage of little Yoshi feet trampling your foes midair. And nothing feels better than stacking damage when you can hit with the entire duration of the attack. Yoshi was my favorite character, or one of my favorite characters to use in home run contests for this reason alone, because there's just something about it. I've missed Snake, and I'm glad he's back, but they've nerfed him. Oh, yeah, there's remote bombs. Yeah, so placing the remote bomb down on the stage for later, or even planting one on your enemy to secure the kill, just feels so right. Lucas's back air takes a little bit of patience and timing, but that's what makes it worth it. I recently covered Lucas in a character breakdown. If you haven't seen that, I'll leave it in the description below, but his back air has such a satisfying meteor smash. It's not a high-risk attack, but the nonchalant flip kick is deadlier than it looks. Whoever smelt it, dealt it. I think Wario's down B is so gratifying to land because you really get only one shot every, like 2 minutes or so? So it's not an attack that you can spam, thankfully. Or maybe Wario eats spam, which is how he gets so gassy. Anyway, a well-timed bark can kill. First-hand flatulence. I don't know if that made sense, but it sounded cool to say, so I said it. I was never much of a Zelda player, but I've felt the wrath of her forward air more times than I can count. The hitbox for the sweet spot isn't huge, but if you can pull it off, it's pretty deadly. Where was this forward air when Zelda got kidnapped by Ganon all those times? Mega Man's down air is the literal definition of throwing hands. It requires some spacing because his hand detaches for the attack, and if it lands, it's a meteor smash, and it's a very satisfying one because it has this little sound to it. It soothes me to the core. So deny your enemies with this low risk but high reward punch. Grouping Marth and Lucina together because they're generally the same character, their neutral B, which is the horizontal sword stab, cuts like a knife through butter, especially when you pierce with a fully charged tip. But let's not forget the actual greatest feeling, which is demolishing a shield like a needle through an overinflated balloon. Unfortunately, this one requires a little bit of luck because Mr. Game & Watch has a bunch of different properties that can accompany landing a side B, which is Judge. I don't know the exact odds of pulling a 9, and I'm not quite sure it's just as simple as a 1 in 9 chance, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case. Anyway, when you land a 9 and hear that erotic ping, you get a dramatic zoom that lets you know it's the one. King DDD is just a slow character in general, so a lot of his attacks are rewarding, but his forward smash in particular sends tingles down my spine, especially when you're playing against a smaller character that you can absolutely crush like a little whack-a-mole. Sorry, I got carried away there for a second. Yeah, King DDD's hammer. Not quite the home run bat, but it does have a nice crack to it, just like in Earthbound when Ness uses his bat to attack harmless animals. What the hell, Nintendo? You can also use it to knock back projectiles, which is also satisfying, but wind it up and swing away because this one is basically ASMR. The Knee of Justice. This one dates back to Melee, so I'm actually surprised that Captain Falcon hasn't needed an MRI on that knee. And the stun and lightning properties, which didn't exist back in the day, picture me waving a cane around just now, just add the extra icing level of satisfaction. There's very few things out there that compete with the feeling of hopping off the ledge for a knee KO. This one is super risky, and it's not as powerful as it used to be, but Jigglypuff's rests KOs even at pretty low damages. Just remember that if you miss, you're toast. But, as they say, high risk, high reward, so charge into your enemies and rest up. Ganondorf is a powerhouse, but you already knew that. With that being said, a lot of Ganon's attacks are heavy hitters, but his down air, aka his stomp, is beastly. Dude throws his chest out and his head back, pure bliss. It feels so good that it completely takes over the Emperor of the Dark Realm's body. The only thing that has